So perfect. So we're all set here. We can go live, we can record, everything is as it should be. And I am once again very happy to be in this space with all of you. And as I mentioned, I'm pulling from all this medicine of my ancestors. And so a lot of that is working with the Babylonian energy and its roots and kind of everything else that we do. And what I mean by that is that astrology was very much a Babylonian science as well. And Gemini was actually 100% identified as a constellation by the Babylonians. And so a lot of the Greek work that we do is often related, if not directly kind of borrowed from Babylonian work. And so I always like to call that out because I feel a strong affinity to Greek pagan work, Greek pagan deities. They were some of, the first kind of pagan deities I ever read about, and I always found them so exciting. And so returning to them and then realizing that they're in many ways a part of my identity has been a really helpful and exciting opportunity. And so as we're working with the astrology today, we're kind of going into some work that feels very familiar to me because my ancestors all worked off a lunar calendar, and often even pagan Europeans worked off the lunar calendar. And then beyond that, working with how the stars interplay with the moon. It feels right, and it feels kind of like going back to our inherent power and our inherent practice. And so I always love this opportunity to kind of take a break from the everyday and sit and really think to myself, how am I being influenced by the energy around me? Because we are so sensitive, and, I am too. And so it's like, well, I know that there's the world going on around me and there's the people around me, but what also is happening kind of at the unspoken level? And the more you know, the more you just kind of collect what your ancestors knew. And you can kind of use that as one of your many tools in your toolbox. And so I don't know, it makes me happy. So we're in Gemini season, which is kind of this perfect doorway between spring and summer, at least in the Northern Hemisphere. Gemini, if you're a tarot reader, represents the Lover's card. So it's a great opportunity to call in kind of that balanced, sort of full, like, appreciation for another partner or a friend, or, if that's something you're looking for, it's a great opportunity for opening and welcoming that energy. And at the same time, Gemini is one that invites us all in this season to be kind of curious and interactive and interested in kind of being with one another, communicating with one another, really being external in the way we share our expression, our thoughts, and doing so with kind of a bunch of joy. Gemini in general is one who self-expresses, because Gemini is these twins, and it's twins who are expressed basically the same way twice. And so it's like, almost like, to me, it invokes a feeling of no fear around being and expressing the self in all the many ways that we are. And so when I think of being, how this connects to love or partners, I think it's this idea that you can be a reflection of yourself or a reflection of someone else, knowing that everyone's kind of going to have to deal with conflict or, difficulty, but the understanding that there's so much to gain from allowing, yourself to be in the present with people and to be as yourself and to speak as yourself, and that there's actually a joy being outwards into the world and kind of allowing yourself to also kind of go with the flow. Gemini is easy to adopt the moods of people around them and kind of be friends with this person this way, that person that way, and sometimes even detach if things are getting difficult. There's that ability to be objective and observant by sort of understanding kind of where basically this reflection or this connection is going. And so I think this is something that we can all welcome in with a lot of joy and kind of acceptance of the self. Geminis also allow us to be a little bit, I think, take things less seriously, take things, a little bit on the easier side. And so that makes it kind of pleasing for all, because we're allowing ourselves to kind of whatever has been moving deep, we can kind of start to work our way to the surface, and kind of in a healing way, in a spiritual way, we are able to kind of take our cords and our karma and everything that's been behind us and really kind of just get out of it, and sometimes it's harder to do, especially coming off that full moon in Scorpio with the eclipse. But in this moment where we are under this new moon, it's a little bit easier, and it's a little bit, I guess I would say, opportune to do so. Now, thinking of the Gemini and new moon, it officially happened yesterday, like last night, I believe. But you can always pull new moon energy within 48 hours of its coming and leaving. So this, in some way, it's not going to affect pulling it in any way from last night. And what's nice is that it closes the eclipse portal that we just went through. So if you in any way experience any difficulty, I only laugh because it was quite an eclipse season for me as well. And a lot came out of me, and a lot came out of everyone around me. But it was also a real moment of witnessing and of allowing for new information to replace basically kind of old behaviors that were just not necessary. Someone in the chat says same. Yes, right, exactly. Like, it was quite an eclipse time, a full lunar eclipse in Scorpio. It's like magical. Like, it's like, oh wow, it's really meant to be that I have this like moon moment. I have my true emotional self coming out, but also the opportunity to see it and know it and take my power back, and become a little more humble too, to be honest. That's how I felt it. So, these eclipses, even though they're kind of dropping us into a new place, we can now allow it, that kind of struggle and that conflict, to be behind us, so that instead, with this new moon in Gemini, and I said this in my newsletter, thank you to those who are signed up on my newsletter, but this is a really amazing opportunity to bring kind of a dose of fresh energy, fresh perspective, not just integration, but kind of just like, it's like you wipe the slate clean again. You know what's behind you, and now you're just going to kind of become something new. And, maybe there's a little bit of mental fog around this time, because it's kind of new moon with Gemini, kind of really this sort of emotional thought place that we're in. But I've seen it mostly positive for myself. I think this is like a really positive moon moment. And so I think that all that softness and that gentleness that comes from Gemini, and from the kind of loving twin energy of Gemini, I just think that it's an opportunity for us to really open and really be healed and just be happy for like 1 minute in our lives, because we all deserve that. So, and of course, more than a minute, but I think you get where I'm coming from. So happy for that. Happy for this new moon Gemini to kind of remind us of our two sides of being, our reflection of body and soul, of kind of, the love and light side, and then the shadowy, darker side. Though I should say dark is not a term that I'd like to use, so I apologize for that. What I guess I would mean is more like the difficult side and the easy side that we work with. So I think what I would say about that is, this is all the opportunity to see the full sides, because, even if we would like to say, first of all, with working with our dark energy, that can be our grounded energy, that can be our earth energy. There's beauty in that. And there's also beauty in working with our kind of heavens above, crown chakra energy. And in fact, they're all reflections of each other and all shades of the same being. And so I find for myself that working with harmony with this is kind of working into a trust space. And we're going to be talking about that a little bit in the meditation in the second one as well. But it's kind of about trusting yourself to be yourself and to be safe as yourself. So let's see, beyond that, we're working with this Aldebaran royal star kind of opening moment that has been revered by many ancient cultures, where both the sun and moon is conjunct to Aldebaran. And this is an energy that carries success, honor, rewards, good luck. There's opportunity for abundance, good money, good love, everything that we want, I think, is up on stage for transforming, if we would so like to use it. And so with all that said, I think this is a really special moment and an opportune time to be communing with the powers that be, the spirits as they are. And I look forward to sharing this. With all that said, excuse me. Oh, geez, I was just trying to see the Facebook chat. Thank you for your patience. Someone says, I need understanding lately, been stargazing. My sun is on Taurus. Am I still a Gemini, May 24th? You might be a cusp, to the person in the chat who asked that. Often we work with cusp energy. I'm a cusp, I'm a Virgo Libra cusp. So you may feel both for a reason. And I recommend looking at the rest of your chart. So you never know. Someone else said, I welcome this energy with the new moon. Thank you for your time sharing your gifts. Yeah, thank you for being here. Oh, you switched to the live. That's great. I see someone has raised their hand. I'm sorry, I don't call on people for this recording, but you're welcome to speak in the chat if you'd like to. You can just DM me anything that you'd like. Okay, thank you so much. So great. The last thing I'll say, so that we can get grounded into the work we're about to do, is that we'll be doing 2 meditations today. So the first will be a general clearing, opening of energy. I always like to give you my energy, a little bit of Reiki healing from myself, so that you can kind of move your energy as you need to with a little bit of assistance. And then we take a 5-minute break. And then we'll move into the second meditation. And the second meditation is more of a ceremonial work piece. And that will be, I'll be calling in my patron, Hermes. I'll discuss that. That's the last final point I think I'll talk about before we begin. And so I'll call in Hermes, and we have some work today to do with the reflections of the self and the twin selves that exist within us. So doing some of that, and then we'll say goodbye. So I think it should be a wonderful class. And again, if you can stay, the meditations are very much twins of each other, to use Gemini terms. And so I recommend, I totally understand schedules, but if schedules allow for it, it would be amazing if you could stay. But if they don't, again, no worries. And beyond that, I just wanted to share a little bit about Mercury and the way that I see Mercury, because Mercury is such, of course, a mercurial energy, an important energy. And I see someone in the chat says, hi on Facebook. Hello. Hi, thank you for being here. So I wanted to talk about Mercury, and Mercury, the energy of Mercury is that basically he has many faces. I use he, him for Mercury. You use the pronouns that you feel are preferable for you, because I think if there's anyone who's ever been kind of opportune to being non-conforming in gender or in any kind of display or showing of self, it's definitely Mercury. Mercury is at heart a mover between worlds, whether that's Hermes, who takes the spirits of the living into Hades with the spirits of the dead, or if you're looking at Thoth in the Egyptian tradition, Jehudi, that is basically the judge of the dead in ancient Egypt, and he judges the dead. He allows them to pass through into into their final stage. And then beyond that, we've got Odin, who is often associated with the gallows and working, with those who have passed on, as well as his own experience of kind of losing sacrifice, you might say, is the hanged man card that in a way is Odin. But what I really like about Mercury is beyond all of these, Mercury is also Nabu and Enki in the Babylonian tradition. And I, of course, have a special place in my heart for Enki because I'm a huge fan of the Epic of Gilgamesh, and Enkidu is my favorite character, and Enkidu, beloved by Enki. I feel very connected to it all. So when I think of Mercury, and when I think of all of these energies that come with Mercury, what I find very interesting is, we often think of the triple goddess, and I love that. And there's such beauty to that kind of Venus energy of, being able to be multiple things at once, be a triumvirate of the divine feminine, which is the maiden, the mother, and the crone. And so it's actually interesting that Mercury also has that side to himself, and that he's kind of the youth as Hermes. He's the man, the judge, as Jehudi or Thoth, or you could say the writer, the record keeper, as Enki or Nabu, and general wisdom keeper as Enki. Or, Enki's kind of in between. You could say Odin and Enki as basically the sage, the wise ones. So I really like that about mercurial energy. That's just in the back of your mind. I'm going to be calling in all the names and everything, but I invite you to work with who you want to work with, and I'll be calling in your guides as well as my own when we go into that prayer space in the second meditation before we start to do kind of the ceremonial work. So with that being said, let's please get the music started, production director. And I really look forward to sharing this with you today. Thank you again for being here. Just a second. Perfect. Okay, everyone. So grateful also that Mercury retrograde is finally almost over. What a wonderful way to bring in Mercury back through the new moon and then have retrograde be over. I love that. Much blessings. Let's all get comfortable now. Again, if you have your crystals or anything that you'd like, this is a great time to wield them, to hold them. And if you have everything you need, get into your comfortable spot. You can lay down, sit down. We'll take a minute here and begin with a bit of acknowledgement of where we are. Appreciate the land that we're on. Appreciate the keepers of the land that we're on. Appreciate that we are at times guests on this land. But still appreciative of this land that holds us. As well as be appreciative of the lands of our ancestors. of the skies that are above us all. Let's take a moment to integrate, be in space, in presence, in connection with one another, and begin to tap in to the way our breath is falling naturally at this moment. We'll do some breath work together now. I'm going to invite you to breathe to the count of 9 and breathe out to the count of 9. So when I say 9, you'll breathe out in, and when I say 9, you'll breathe out, and I'll direct you. Breathing in now, 9. Breathing out, 9. Breathing in, 9. Breathing out, 9. 9. 9. One last breath in here now. We're really going to pull everything in. Just a moment, actually, please. One last moment here where we'll breathe in when I say 9, pulling everything from the tips of our toes to the top of our head, really letting the air in our stomach fill, and then breathing out when I say 9 again, all the way. So let's all come together for this final breath here. Breathing in, 9. And 9, release. Great work, everyone. All right. Today, we are opening ourselves to go deep into the reality that carries us and to take this time to reflect on the self, to release, and to return to self. As it is new moon in Gemini, we are opening ourselves to release dense cords and unuseful energy that is no longer meant for us. We can allow ourselves to be simply, and at the same time, be complexly. Let's take some time not to judge, but to be all forms of self. Be with ourselves in our air self. Taking time to sit with the thoughts. Seeing these thoughts as many sparkling nodes of our consciousness that have their own places in our lives. Our thoughts around us like a cloud of butterflies and moths. Some are flies, some are bumblebees, some are beautiful, some are plain, some are creative energies, and some are not. Sitting with these sparkling, airy creatures that are our own thoughts and perceptions. Breathing in as this new moon is above us in our present self, welcoming stillness to all of these parts as we are in the incubation of the new self. We let some of these thoughts fly away. We welcome some closer to center. As we are aligning with the sacred movement and creation of the universe and of the power of thought that is us in this universe. You may find it helpful to put your focus here into your forehead, into your third eye, so that as we are coming closer to our thoughts and seeing them, we are also returning to our vision or in any way, the third eye experiencing psychic reality, whether it is clairaudient, clairsentient, or clairvoyant. Now let us move into seeing the way our thoughts exist, our cloud of sparkles of flying creatures exist in the rest of our body, allowing for body wisdom, body awareness to expand. So we are coming closer into viewing our nervous system. seeing our pathways of thought, our pathways of mind. And the more we see and the more we bear witness, the more we allow ourselves to cohabitate with that experience that we see and understand. If you feel yourself at any point thinking that you cannot cohabitate with yourself, I'm here to tell you now that you can. And so as we are releasing tensions and sitting naturally with the body, tuning in to the mind that runs in so many directions, through so many nerves, a roadmap of our feeling and experiencing, we come into sitting at this crossroads of all thoughts and finding some safety at that crossroads. And the marker of this crossroads, this center place, is our brain and mind itself, the container that holds this mind. The living biological computer that experiences this life and is expression of your soul. This brain that is also the record keeper of your life in this world and in the many lives that your spirit has lived before this. Let us today work to ease this record keeper and to open it to new possibilities and ways of thinking. Maybe it can be that the next time we return to our memories and our thoughts, it would be as a different person or a different expression. Maybe we do not have to be defined by the records that we have kept. And so we honor this thinking and feeling part of ourselves, relaxing and releasing into the largest part of our brain, the front, the cerebrum, the self that coordinates movement, the self that coordinates our temperature, that coordinates the body as we choose to think and then become and embody and move our thoughts, bringing any love, bringing any change, bringing any witnessing that needs to the ways in which we move. We work with processing memories around basic body as it moves through this world, understanding that all that we process does not need to sit with us at present. Knowing that the ways that we were do not have to be the ways that we are. We work with the cortex, the heaviest part of the brain that controls body. Left half controlling the right side, right half controlling the left side. As we come into understanding of our fluid self, ruled by left and right, giving and receiving, divine masculine and divine feminine. feeling comfort in our relations to all others. If you feel called to move and stretch as you bring mind awareness to your body, to yourself, feel free to do so. And the more we focus in and witness here, the more we understand ourselves and the roadmap that has brought us into this moment and into this time. We connect now to our perceptive places in our brain. The parietal lobe of speaking, here in the middle, the back of our head, occipital, which connects to our vision, and all of our glands, the amygdala, pituitary, pineal, all receivers of information, all judgers, thinkers, reasoners, problem solvers in our mind, the emotional thoughts, the learning thoughts, the functional thoughts, all of these parts that make up our existence of seeing and of speaking, the places that we associate with fight or flight, the places that create extra cortisol for us and anxiety. We are becoming like engineers of our mind, of our airy self, as we are seeing the ways that we receive, we are seeing the ways that we give, as emotional thoughts, emotional perceptions, emotional judgments that are all living in the realm of our mind, some of which do not help us, and some of which can be nurtured to help us even more. As we are moving from this eclipse in Scorpio, full moon energy, as everything has come to be shifted and all that we have come to witness has raised new flares of understanding, I now send you Reiki for your healing, your activation, your downloading, as well as an invitation for any cords that you would like to cut. May they be removed today. Someone else in the chat says that they would like to send Reiki as well. Thank you and blessings to you. Remember to receive as well, but as long as you do both, it's completely welcome. And if anyone else wants to send to the community, sharing in this space together across time, across space, now is a great time to receive, to send. Only good, helpful energy, though, please. Now we'll work to cut some cords that you do not need. Thank you again to those who are adding their own Reiki contributions. Let's remove all of that energy that is not useful from the eclipse, all that energy from other people, and the memories that those people reacted within us, these memories that are trying to help us, but get in the way of freedom of thought, that get in the way of the thriving of our cloud. Working to send Reiki as again. Each moonstone to open you to this new moon. Opening you to the loving sense of self that is Gemini. Bringing green healing to your thoughts through the ancientness of Kambaba Jasper. Finally, just allowing for any final channelings, downloads. If you have any tools, you're welcome to call them into you to help you receive now. One final fluffing and re-energizing of each of your chakras, starting with the crown, the third eye, the throat, stomach, heart, stomach, sacrum, and finally root. Bringing it all through one more time. For your activation, a spray of a little perfume for all of us, for blessings and for the spirits. May the flowers reach us all. As we are here now to be in full embodied consciousness, able to relate through our experience and times to the miracle of the mind, which is so capable of beauty and of strength. May our minds expand and activate into a kind of angelic consciousness, a kind of elven, fairy, little people, light being or ally being or familiar being kind of consciousness, star being, with the understanding that as our brains are activating to our consciousness, all of our experiences are simply a part of life. May each and every one of us move forward, not holding on to the yesterdays of the past. May all of us experience movement as our brain moves us, as our nerves move us. May we as well move, change, become something new. The universe around us, above us, is one great container for all of these minds, all of these brains, all of these experiences, to live at center point and expand outwards from every single infinite direction. May nothing be trapped within us. May we move away from all that has passed and into a happier future. Take a final moment here as this first meditation comes to a close and we move into our break for about 5 minutes. Get yourself some water if you haven't had any yet, or if you want, you can brew yourself a tea. And in about 5 minutes, we will move into the second meditation, in which we will go deep into working with Mercury, working with the moon, and inviting in a new spirit and self on the astral plane. Perfect. All right, let's go ahead and put the second music on, please. And we'll move into our second meditation now. Okay. So as we begin this second ceremony, let's do another breath here. We'll only do 2 here, 2 for Gemini. Then we will move into our prayer work that may open this space. Calling in now ourselves as we breathe in 9. Breathe out 9. Breathe in again here, deeply opening ourselves into space as we breathe in 9. Breathe out 9. Perfect. Let's begin by calling in the 7 directions. With great gratitude to the north, the place of the ancestors. Gratitude to the east, of new beginnings and the rising sun. Calling in the south, the place of our passion and our creativity, of abundance. With gratitude, we call to the west, the place of endings, the place of change. We call to the below, the place of all Earth's beings. We call to the above, the place of the heavens. We call to the center, in perfect alignment and in great gratitude. We call to your guides, your allies, to any of your ancestors who are watching over you, or to your ancestors in their wellness who would like to watch and help you, the wise people, wise men, wise women that are in your lineage, that are here to support you as you break generational cycles and work into the coming of your new self. We welcome your animals, your cats, your dogs, your reptiles, your fish, your marine mammals, your birds, any bugs, insects, flowers, and trees as well. Any fungi, any living beings that are supportive to you. With great gratitude that they watch over you, asking for them to come with you today on this journey and inviting them into your life. And calling in any of your deities across your ancestral traditions or into the places that have called to you with respect. As well as any other familiar spirits little people, fairies, angels, elves, menehune, jinn. And finally, I call in my allies, the great father Ninurta, Abu Ninurta of Babylon, Capricorn, Saturn energy, great Hercules, hero, slayer of the Anzu bird, protector of humanity, wielder of Sharur, the mighty mace, protector of the tablets of time and destiny. Great humble thanks to Ishtar, Inanna, to the great Venus goddess, to the great warrior, great goddess of love, great goddess of the lionesses and the owls. With humble appreciation to all other Venus mothers, to Isis, to Sekhmet, to Bastet, to Freya, to Shakti, to all the great Venus goddesses who work with the cats, who work with love, who work with acceptance. To great Anubis, to great Osiris, I give my thanks. To Hecate, to Artemis, Diana, Selene, the great moon goddesses. Of course, how could I forget Aphrodite? I'm so sorry, Aphrodite. To the great goddesses, Alat, Manat, and Al-Uzza, the goddesses of the satanic verses in the Quran. Elat, to all the Semitic, Babylonian, Canaanite, Venusian goddesses. And finally, to great Mercury, my patron, Hermes, Jehudi, Thoth, Tehot, great father Odin, great father Nabu, great father Enki. We are so humbly grateful for your wisdom, for the doorways you have opened to us and for us. And we thank you for your presence here with us today as beings in council under your guidance. I offer my prayer. Hail to you, Lord Hermes, God of the roads, God of the travelers, God who goes. Hail to you, God who leads and leads us on. Lord Hermes, we pray, we call to you and beg for your blessing. May we travel swiftly, secretly, safely, and speedily on all paths. Please grant that we are not harmed, and please grant that we attain all destinations, fulfill all goals, attain all ends, and that we may enjoy your glory, your presence, and your blessing. Please be with us wherever we go. The entire world praises you, honors you, glorifies you. Great Hermes, hail to you. And I just offer one final prayer in this scene setting. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Malik Yawmiddin, Iyaka na'budu wa Iyaka nasta'in, Uhdina sirat al-Mustaqim, sirat al-Ladhina an'amta alayhim, Khayri al-Maghdubi alayhim wa la dhalim. Ameen. Sadaqallah al-Azim. Taking time to just be in this space of allowing these powers to congregate around us. Someone sends candle emojis. I mean, candles and hearts. That's right. I agree. May we open our minds now and be ready to travel as we are carried away by clouds from this room and into the realm of healing under the new moon. Leaving this place, flying into the sky, carried by these clouds and any feathered birds or creatures or angels or fairies, as we feel the air and the wind swell around us, as we fly up and into this temple that is being prepared for us in this place of our healing, towards our temple of the new moon blessings. We are greeted by a place that is made entirely of mirrored crystal. A hall of rainbow mirrors, a palace of many turrets, high windows, rounded domes. And before you, a pavilion of fountains, all shining, all reflecting the sky, the stars, the moon. The gateways open, and you are being invited in. As you take in this temple, you are being guided now to a place meant just for you, whether that is a room or a garden or a throne at the center of a garden, interior garden. This place is covered with many mirrors, has mirrors throughout the room, as well as growth and light and silvery moon energy. If you would like, and there is a throne, you are welcome to take that throne for yourself. Hermes is here, the magician, as a friend, as well as all your other guides. And remember to work with whoever feels safest for you. Coming to us, Hermes is a child, an adult, and a sage, wise woman. Coming in the form that works best for you if you choose to work with him or her or them. Listen now as you are situating into this place in the new moon that was made just for you, for the messages that are meant for this moment, for your upgrade and activation. Listening or seeing any visuals, memories, experiencing any thoughts that pass through your mind, and asking yourself, what am I meant to learn today? What am I meant to see, understand, and bear witness to on my path? And in this space, we are with the magic of the moon, the magic of our guides, thanking them for who and what they want to say, opening now to being washed of our burdens, to being receivers of knowledge, receivers and engineers of our reality, being washed in the pale glow of the stars and the moon, as well as the beauty of the heavy darkness that is this great universe. We invite in the beauty that is within us, the dark and the light. As Hermes, the sorcerer, the magician, in many forms, comes to you. And if it's not Hermes, it can be Hecate or Diana or Artemis instead, or Selene, asking you to hold out both of your hands, in which are now placed two tokens, gifts, or talismans that will have some meaning to you in the next lunar cycle. There may be some explanation of what you receive, what it means for you and your future, what you must hold on to. And after explaining, Hermes will hold up now a great mirror to you. And suddenly, all mirrors in this palace will in some way direct towards you and reflecting you. So that wherever you look, you see rainbow reflections of yourself. You may see your root chakra self, your sacral chakra self, your stomach, your heart, your throat, your third eye, and your crown chakra selves. You see your child self, your teenage self, you see your parents, your family, your ancestors, the masculine, the feminine, the parts of you that you are you on your best day, the parts of you that are on your worst day, the many parts of you that simply are, and the many parts of you that you imagine yourself to be. These mirrors show the infinitesimal multiverse selves as well. And as we see all of these selves, we allow for the basic wisdom that we are safe at all times to have a mirror image. We understand that it is safe to see ourselves, to know ourselves, and to be ourselves. Hermes reaches out to you now and touches your face and removes your mask, the mask that you wear, in order to fit in and be a part of this world and to exist with minimal effort or minimal bothering. That self that you put up that is not quite you. And so that mask is removed and falls away into the other mirrors. We are, with the removal of this mask, releasing the self that says, I am afraid. I'm afraid to do things. I'm afraid and must do it all myself. I'm afraid, and so I must shield myself. Fear that you were not shielded. Releasing all that is coming up and making some peace as well with feelings of disappointment or betrayal. Understanding the true self that is both vibrant and that has come far to care for this body. Instead, we see all parts of us, true self, true us, verbal and nonverbal, coming through in a cacophony of winds. And we allow for this. As Hermes invites us to use our talismans again, or any crystals that we have, to become self-loving, self-respecting, self-caring, focusing in on the mirror images of ourselves that really feel like us. Perhaps even allowing a bit of an Adonis-like passionate love and comfort to be this person in this body. As Hermes places hands on top of your head, and it could also be Selene or Hecate placing hands at the top of your head, shining into the energy of moving freely between worlds of mortal and divine, and being able, through all channels, to feel beloved as you are expressed externally, and to do so with ease in your path. Now you are invited to reach into this mirror and to organize these selves. Putting and creating space for the difficult selves to be in one location so that only so much attention can be given to these selves so that they can be understood as difficult memories, but do not become an overwhelming force in our lives. Let us attract and move and place through the mirror. May we also weave new space for the new and exciting selves, for the selves that make us feel like Adonis, for the selves who show up, who are responsible for their behavior, for those who find happiness, for those who can live without guilt, for those who live with beauty, for those who are open to abundance and who are easily able to feel safe with love. May we reweave our mirrored selves to balance and to place importance on the organized distinction between these two selves in our mirror. We come to understand the lesson that we can organize our lives and reorganize back into happiness every chance that is possible for us. It is always worthwhile to take. And you and your new, happier, or perhaps more balanced selves in the mirrors, now with help from the sorcerer Mercury, from the great witch Hecate, from all the beings that are with you, let us take time to weave and create as magician, as wise one, as witch, as medicine person. Let us weave with these new selves, the beloved self, the abundant self, the loving self, the happy self, twinning and balancing into new versions. Thank you to the chat for your comments. Thank you very much. And finally now, Hermes, Hecate, all of these beings come to you with a new set of masks, a variety of selves that you are at all times welcome and very delighted to be expressed as. Pulling masks out of many mirrors, many realms, so that you may always feel best expressed in every situation. All of these masks bearing sigils and glamours for your beauty, for your new ways of being, for your magic. And as we take all of these together, let us receive our final messages, activations, and downloads now from this new moon in Gemini. As every being in this space comes for one infinite embrace across the many reflected selves. Someone says, beautiful, wonderful, inspiring as always. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for being here. I'm now going to count down from 10. And when I reach 0, we will arrive back into this room and into this plane. Counting down now. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and 0. Thank you to the beings who have opened this path for us and for your kindness. Thank you to all the people who are in this space. I'm now going to turn off the live stream. Good night to everyone on Facebook. And I'm going to turn off the recording.